Okay, so welcome to Mortimer's Hole. Now, as you came down, some of you might notice a little friend down there. His name is Mortimer II, and he's in here to keep me a real little fox that likes to live in these caves. His name is Mortimer. If you do see him, don't worry, he's very shy. He will just run away. Keep your eye out because you can often see his little paw print in the sand. You don't have to watch out for that. As I said before, this cave is very old. The section we're in currently is just over 300 years old, but the bit at the bottom of these stairs is over 800 years old. And apart from being quite a pretty cave, it's also really important in the history of England. And to find out why, you've got to go back to the reign of three kings. Edward I, Edward II, can anyone guess the last one?
Edward III.
No, it's Gary. No, right, it's Edward III. So, Edward I is King of England, late 1200s, early 1300s. And he's a warrior king. His favourite thing to do is go to war. So he goes on crusade, he fights with the French, he fights with the Welsh, he fights with the Scots, he fights with anyone he can. And the people of England love this. Has anyone seen Braveheart? Mm-hmm. He's a big villain in that. Now, his son Edward II, total opposite. He's absolutely pants at warfare. He leads the war with Scotland immediately on becoming king. And Edward II realised he'd never defeat France if it came to a war. So his only way to keep the peace was if he was to marry the daughter of King Philip of France. Her name was Isabella. Now, can any of you guess how old she was when she married the 24-year-old Edward II?
10.
Not far off, she was 12. 12 years old when she marries a man twice her age. And there's a lot of hope resting on this marriage, because it brings peace between two big warring countries. But very quickly there are signs the marriage isn't going to go well. No sooner had Edward and Isabella's ship landed back in England after the wedding than Edward ran across the docks and into the arms of a man named Piers Gaveston. And in those days' words, he showered him with kisses. So, Piers Gaveston, Edward's favourite person in the world. He's constantly giving this man gifts, money, land, titles, whatever he could want. And this is a problem in the marriage straight away. They have a big wedding reception to celebrate Isabella marrying Edward, and it's noticed that at this feast, Gaveston is apparently wearing the jewellery that was Edward's wedding present to his new wife. To make matters worse, doesn't talk to his wife once in the whole wedding reception, spending the whole night talking and slow dancing with Piers Gaveston instead. So very quickly, Isabella learned it's not a big deal in her own marriage. And things only get worse over the next few years. Edward barely spends any time with his wife. He's always off with that man instead. And he gives Gaveston all the best jobs in England, including putting him in charge of this castle right here. Now, as you can imagine, this favouritism rather annoys Isabella. But as years go by, starts to get on the nerves of the other nobles of England as well. And eventually, a group of them get together, and they trick Gaveston to meet them just outside Warwick, where the Earl of Lancaster brutally murders him. But with Gaveston out of the way, Edward and Isabella fall very much in love. They have 4 lovely kids. The eldest, Edward III, is born when she's 17 years old. And things seem to be going quite well for the couple. They're in love, they spend all their time together, they've got an heir, they've got spare. What could possibly go wrong? What went wrong was Edward met another man. That's what happened. He met a man named Tudor Spencer the Younger. And again, he stops talking to his wife, because he's always off with that man instead. And again, he gives that man gifts, money, land, titles, whatever he could want. Now, this new favourite, Hugh, doesn't like Isabella. He thinks she's too rich. So convince Edward to cut her income. He thinks she's got too much land, too many castles. So convince Edward to take most of them away, gives them to him instead. But the final straw, the thing that really annoyed Isabella, is she arranges for the Scottish army to try and murder her. So, when she's in the north of England, he abandons her to the Scots, and she barely escapes with her life. Now, how do you think Edward decided to act to the man just quite openly arranged for his wife to be murdered? What do you do? Think carefully.
I was not listening.
That's fair enough. Well, he decides the correct response to someone trying to kill your wife is to give that man a gift. And not just any gift as well. He gives him what is Isabella's favourite thing she owns in the entire country, which is this castle right here. He loves this place, spends as much time as she can here, then Edward hands it over to the man that's just tried to have her murdered. So she thinks enough is enough. I don't blame her. She takes the kids and she leaves him, running off to her brother's court in France. Now, when she's in France, Edward sends her pleading letters. Please come back to me. Please send our kids back to me. But she refuses. Because out in France, she's met a new man. A man named Roger Mortimer, who this cave is named after. And they fell in love on Christmas Day in the year 1325. And the thing that brings this lovely couple just so close together is just how much they both hate Edward II. So, Roger Mortimer, he's an English lord. He's also run away to France to get away from the king. And the new couple start plotting. they decide they're going to have to do something about Edward II. So they convince her brother to give her an army. And they sail across the Channel and invade England. Now, when Isabella lands with her army, it's expecting a massive battle against those loyal to the king. But no battle ever comes. Because it turns out the regular people of England also really hate Edward II. And they march all the way to London virtually unopposed. And Edward spots this huge army coming across the field towards him, led by Isabella. And he thinks to himself, well, you don't have to fight this army. It's being led by my wife. I'll just go out and talk my wife's anger down. That didn't go very well. In fact, it went so badly that afterwards, not only did she chase him out of London, but she chased him all the way out of England. And she finally caught him in Wales at the start of next year. And she locked him in the dungeon of Berkeley Castle, where he died a short while later of natural causes. Yeah, no one believes the Queen said the King's conveniently died. Everyone's very sure she just murdered him. And there are several theories about how she does this. Main one, though, involves a red hot poker going somewhere we're not going to go into because there are kids on this tour. It's a really nasty way to go. But everyone's pretty sure the Queen is behind this, because this leaves her and her lover Mortimer in charge of England. Her son Overthrew, the new king, well, he's only 14. You wouldn't let a 14-year-old run a country, so they take his place. Now they've got power. Mortimer and Isabella's favourite thing to do was to hold massive parties. They're constantly partying and feasting, and they buy loads of expensive gifts for themselves and their friends. And over the 3 years they ruled England, they managed to spend 80% of the country's entire wealth. When they were done, there was just £12 left in the treasury. That was it. Now, as you can imagine, that upsets a few people, especially upset a bloke called Edward III. Because by 1330, he turned 17 and started thinking, well, wait a minute, I'm technically the king. That's all my money they're spending. I should be the one partying and ruling, not my mum, not my stepdad. It should be me. He decided to do something about it. What he did involved this cave right here. So, we'll head a bit further and I'll tell you about that. If you like, follow me down.